welcome back to Strong's Little Farmhouse. We bought a 101-year-old farmhouse that we are going to refurbish and restore and bring back to life, we hope. And we're doing it ourselves because we're doing it on a budget and we really have no idea what we're doing. But that's okay, we're learning as we go. You can learn along with us, and if we make mistakes, you'll know how to avoid them.
So today, we're finally going to get back to updating our ugly screen door. So, we've had a few issues. Our first choice was just to buy a new vinyl door, put it in, and be done with it. But nothing we found would fit. And after several trips to the store, we decided to just refurbish the door that came off of the house. So after almost 2 weeks of delays, it's time to get back at it. That's the project for today, and we're gonna knock this out and get it done. So this is our old screen door, and it has seen some better days. And it's been poorly patched and repaired many times. It doesn't look so bad on this side. You would think, just a little bit of paint, perhaps. But on the inside, as the screen kept coming out, instead of just re-screening the door, they kept putting these little cedar planks around to hold the screen in place because there was holes. So that's got to go, and you can see there's quite a little bit of mold and stuff, so we got to sand this all down, give it a new coat of paint, re-screen it, and then we'll have a pretty good working door, and we will have recycle this one here. The first thing we have to do is get all the hardware off. Neat little trick I learned to get some of these brad nails out. They don't really have a head on them, so you can take a needle nose pliers, and if you can get any amount of grip on that brad nail, just give it a little twist, and then use your pry bar or even a backside of a hammer, and you can get those puppies out. Okay, and now we can remove this screen door frame. If we can save this frame, we'll just re-screen it and put it back in here. So I have to admit, when we first took this down, we thought we were just going to throw it away, and so it's been laying in the yard for a while, and we've had a couple of rains. So the wood's a little bit wet, so we're going to give it a day to dry, and then we'll come back and finish it tomorrow. So I was going to let this dry overnight, but with the Texas sun and a nice breeze, this is really drying out pretty well. Plugging in your piece of equipment is going to make it work a lot better. All right, let's see how this goes. Floating on air. Here's kind of a good example of before and after. Here's where you have some of that old weatherization. You've got the nail holes and all the imperfections along here, and here it's all nice and smoothed out from the sanding. You can see here that there is quite a lot of damage on the front side of the door. There's rust, there's mold, there's marks from the previous hardware. So this has got to be cleaned up, and we're going to do that by sanding it. electric sander has done a great job on the flat surface of this screen door, and you can see, whoops, but it's not very good at getting into little detail areas here. So for that, it's just down to hand sanding and good old elbow grease. So here you can see all the paint that we got off, all the loose, old, flaky paint. And you can see down inside on the detail here, things like this, how important it is to get down in those corners and details because... Okay, I think she's ready.
We're working on the screen door today. It's been a little while since we started our screen door project because, as you can see back here, we had to get the shed done and we had to get the pad ready, but now we're waiting for the rebar and concrete to finish out the pad, so we're getting some small projects done while we have a chance. So we're super excited to finally get to the screen door, which is a couple of months since we took this off the door. And we really were just at the point we were just going to paint, put the screen back in and hang the door, but it's got some, I don't know if you can see that, some loose parts. So you know what, do it right, do it once, do it sloppy, and you're gotta fix it again. So Mark and I have decided we're going to basically put glue in the joints, clamp everything up, nail in some brads to hold it into place, and then continue on with finishing off the screen door.
It's a frog inside the fan. He's trying to stay cool. It's a very hot day. He's not caught in there permanently. He got in there somehow. Oh, little green frog in the fan.
Come on, little frog. Up, up, up. Come on, up. He's like, no, I like it here. Come on.
I think he's in there for good.
How you doing? Oh
There
dear.
it goes. How did it get in there? Can you open it?
Okay, we went around and put wood glue in all the little cracks and crevices. Now we're just wiping it out because it shows. So just getting a little, as much off as we can before it dries. All right, it's all cleaned up. Now we're gonna nail our parts together. Okay, so we're all nailed in. Now we'll let it sit for an hour and then we will paint. So this might look familiar. We're actually going to try to get the screen door finished because now that it's fall, having a screen door on the kitchen would be really nice. So, if you've seen our previous video, we took the door off. It's an odd size. We have a custom built home. I tried several different doors, didn't work, so we decided to refurbish this one. I have sanded and removed the paint as much as possible. We've got new hybrids, we've got new screens, ready to go. I just have to paint the dang thing. This 1 hour DIY has literally turned into a 6-month job. Just looked it up and we took this door off at the end of April. We decided to refurbish it at the beginning of May, and then a number of things happened around the homestead that got us delayed. So it wasn't until August when we tried to paint this again, but we had to glue the joints to make it stable. That delayed us one more day, and then something else came up. So it is now November. So literally 6 months have gone by since we took this off the hinges. and it's time to get this project completed. Okay, just double checking that everything has some coverage. It doesn't have to be perfect or complete because it's just a first layer of primer. Alright, I think that looks good, and so we'll let this dry and then we'll flip it over and do the other side. So while Mark is working on another build, which we'll show you in a later video, I am again finishing up this screen door. But as you can see, I am not using white. And I must confess, don't tell Mark, I changed my mind. I changed the siding. The siding's going to be white and everything's going to have black trim. So this door should be black, not white. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, so I'll see you on the other side. Done. That was fast. Well, here we are again at Home Depot at the return department. Because why? Because I decided that our screen door needed to be black, which means our handle kit is white. So we need a new one that's black. So here we are. All right. The door is painted and it's finished and ready to go. And we're home from the store with the black hinges for the black door. No more changing my mind. We're able to use the screen frame from the door from before, so we didn't have to buy a new one of those. We cleaned it up. It looks great. So Mark is just going to put the screws into here, and then we're going to put the screen on. Okay, so we've rolled out the screen onto the table and we cut off the ends. Now you want to leave plenty on either side, if you can see that, and down here, because as you put in the cord along here, it sucks it down in and it'll take up space. And my fault, I cut the length a little short down here, so Mark is working with not very much. I would recommend leaving about that much down there, but he's doing a good job. So he's run this edge already, and now he's running this edge. Okay, believe it or not, it's the next day, but the bugs were so bad last night. Poor Mark was suffering, so I said, let's let it go in, have some dinner, and then we're back out this morning to finish up this job. And yes, I'm gonna say it, it's getting done today, because all we gotta do is put this screen in and then hang it, and we have all the stuff. So, Mark's gonna continue putting in the cord that'll put the screen door in. I'm gonna give you a few more tips on this, and then we're gonna hang this sucker. Okay, we're using this little handy tool to get things in. Like I said before, you can use other things, but this is super handy. It's got two different rollers. This one has sort of a roundish edge, and hopefully you can see that. And this end has a little bevel channel. So the rope fits nicely in here that you can use to hold the rope in place while you're shoving that in. But we've learned you use this end first through the channel. It opens up the channel and shoves the screen in. And then you can come back with the cord and put that in, so you're not trying to push in the screen and the cord at the same time. That has worked really well. Mark's going to demonstrate.
So you can see Mark is holding the cord off to the side and he's just running the screen down in the channel. That's going to create a little less resistance.
And it'll also tell you how tight the screen is. As you can see, I need to get that in a little tighter.
Is it breaking the screen? It is. Wait.
Yeah.
It's cutting the screen.
It's cutting the screens.
Okay, so we've run into a little trouble, which is exactly how things work for us. We were putting in the screen, everything was going great, and then the screen split in one. When we started doing this side, the screen split. So we took the cord all the way out around, we repositioned the screen, put it back in again, but where the screen had already been in was already cut. And now as we're putting in the screen on this side and it's tightening the screen across, remember I said don't pull it too tight because as it goes in it pulls everything tight. It pulled on this now weak spot and now we have a hole.
There's absolutely no reason to put in a screen that has holes in it, because that's what we're trying to fix in the first place. We're gonna go into town and see if we can find metal screening or something a little better.
This is the poly lining we had used. You can see how flimsy this is. So we went to the actual building supply store and we got this, and you can see this is a much stiffer thing because it's actually made of aluminum and not polyester. So we are now going to attempt to put this in our screen. We think it'll be more stable, and since we have cats, this is going to hold up a lot better anyway.
So yes, we are in the car and headed back into town because this little plastic one works great on the polyester liner, but does not work very good on the metal screen. And I don't know if you can see it. Look, we've chewed it all up. There's no channel really left in it, so I don't want to ruin the screen. So we're gonna go see if we can get a better one of these thingies put in the metal screen. Good night. You know what it is? I jinxed it. I said we were getting this done today, and now we've made 2 trips into town.
I knew somehow it was going to be all your fault.
Yeah. No, I'll take credit for it. Alright, we'll see you back at the screen door.
Okay, we're back from the store, and this is the new tool. We could not find one of better quality, so we essentially have exactly the same thing, just a different color. But since we are halfway around this, I think this one will last. This one will last to the end. But as you can see, I'm going to line this up on the dark so you can see these edges. You see the difference? I think this is going to really help get the screen door in without breaking the screen anymore, and that should make life much easier.
And if life is easier for me, life is easier for Mark.
Yes.
Even this aluminum, if you push too hard, you're gonna rip the screen. You can see right here where we had a little issue. So that's why we had to move it over. We were lucky we had enough space, just barely. But, so that's why I say it's our 3rd attempt on this. So, okay, so I'm using the blunt end to get down in this track, and I'm giving a little pressure here to coax this side of the screen to go in. You don't have to get it all the way down in there. You just want to create a channel for the cord. Right, now I'm changing sides to the channel side, pulling taut the cording, or the, I don't know what it's called.
And then just using a little bit of pressure first just to seat it into the track, and then to go back over it and push it down in. It doesn't have to be completely sunk, it just has to hold everything in place. We have made all the mistakes, so you don't have to. This is a slow and steady process. Also, you'll notice I'm not getting it all the way down in there. I'm just getting it set into the channel, just getting it pushed in. That way I'm taking a lot of tension off of this by having all of this in its proper place. Now that it's kind of set, see, this one dropped in, so now I know I can go back and put a little bit more pressure and get this to go all the way down in. Just like that. One other thing you may not be able to note from this angle, but when we were first trying to put it in, we were trying to push straight down. But really, this is a bent piece of aluminum that goes this way. So if you put this at an angle more like this, so not straight up and down, more like this, you're pushing it into the cavity, and it's got more room to give under there, so it's going to be more cooperative. I mentioned before you don't really need this tool, that you could just do it with a screwdriver. That is true. Get this tool. This is a lot harder than it looks like when people do it on YouTube, because it's not easy. Also, my screen's not going to be perfectly flat. At this point, I don't care as long as it keeps the bugs out. If you want it 100% tight, go buy a screen door. I hope these tips help you when you go to rescreen your screen door. I would say this is a DIY-able project, but I would not call it DIY friendly. This was a lot more work than what we had planned. So, but we're getting it done. We learned a new skill. Now you've learned the tricks too. And we'll get this done and hung. This is my last edge, so I'll see you on the other side. Okay, Mark's doing a loose set of the hinges on the door. The instructions say to put it on the door first, and then we'll go put it up on the house, put it where we want on the house, and then we'll tighten everything into place.
Yeah.
You know, this, I don't know if I should laugh or if I should cry, because we're so close to having this door in.
We go to put the hinges on and we test it out, and the hinges broke. Yep, that's right. So take these off, take these back, go get good basic metal hinges. And there it is. The screen door is finally in. Day 195 of our 1 hour DIY is actually complete.
We're so glad you joined us for this DIY adventure, and it really was an adventure. We learned a lot. We learned a lot what not to do. We learned a lot what to look for before you start, and all that is going to help us in our build. Now that we're done with this very exhausting project, we can get started doing something easy like framing an entire barn, because we think that's going to be easier than this stupid screen door. Come back again, like and subscribe, share it with your friends who want a good laugh at our inexperience and lack of skill, and we'll all have a good time together. Thanks for joining us at Strong's Little Farmhouse.